Hello everyone, this is the friendly neighborhood weirdo here once again, and with TLC just less than a day away, we're going to, well, I'm going to, you're going to watch this, but I'm going to give my predictions for TLC 2018, where at least we have more gimmick matches than we did at Extreme Rules 2018, which was not a very good pay-per-view. I predict TLC will at least be marginally better than this pay-per-view. So, let's get started with some predictions. First match I have here is R-Truth and Carmella versus Jinder Mahal and Alicia Fox. This match was a part of the Mixed Match Challenge, which I honestly did not give any craps about. But at least you have some stakes this time, where the winning team will be number 30 in both Royal Rumble matches. So, and you know, I like Truth and Carmella. I mean, they're way more entertaining. And I do like Alicia Fox. And Jinder Mahal is but I predict Truth and Carmella will win. Just because, you know, they're more over. And I think it's a good consolation prize for them for being kind of more really entertaining. Because I remember hearing somewhere that the viewership for Mixed Match Challenge did spike whenever Carmella and R-Truth did their little dance breaks, which I actually find kind of good. Like, they're really funny, like, especially when they interrupt people. But, you know, I'm not sure about the match itself, because Carmella and Alicia Fox are not the best wrestlers. I mean, they're good characters, I'm not going to say that, but they're not good wrestlers. Or, they're good, but they're not like Sasha Banks or Becky Lynch level. The Truth and Jinder Mahal stuff should be fine, though, because Truth is great, and Jinder, I think, when he's with the right opponent, can be fine. So that's my prediction. Truth and Carmella for the win. Next, we have Seth Rollins versus Dean Ambrose for the Intercontinental Championship. I'm excited for this match because Seth and Dean, from FCW to here in WWE, they've never disappointed. Always had a great match. A lot of people don't like the direction Dean's character is going through with this whole germaphobe thing. Let me say, I don't hate this feud, but at the same time, I'm not loving it either because it went off on such a high note with all the mystery and suspense, and then this awesome promo by Dean Ambrose with him throwing his shield vest into a fire, and then all of a sudden he just becomes a germaphobe, like, which I honestly think is okay. I mean, I don't love it, but at the same time, it's not horrible as some people are saying. Like, it's kind of interesting to see Dean do this. I mean, at least he's committed to it. Like, so maybe he'll catch on. Who knows? And I'm also surprised that this feud doesn't really have a stipulation match of some kind. I would assume that a match like this would have some sort of stipulation, but regardless, I still think it's going to be a great match. And I predict Dean Ambrose is going to win because Seth Rollins, you know, he has all the momentum in the world, and I don't think a loss to Dean or losing the IC title will really matter in the long run, because hopefully he will get into the Universal title picture soon, which he really should be in right now. He should be Universal Champion right now. Like, he's going to be, oh my god, I just can't stand the fact that Lesnar is Universal Champion once again. Ugh, crown jewel. Yeah. But I predict Ambrose is going to win the title because it'll give him a lot of momentum for his heel run, and maybe he'll get the germaphobe thing over. Who knows? Next, we have Braun Strowman versus Baron Corbin in a TLC match with a shit ton of stipulations. Like, if Corbin wins, he becomes the permanent Raw General Manager, which that'll be interesting if that happens. But if Braun Strowman wins, he gets a shot at Brock Lesnar at the Royal Rumble for the Universal Championship. So I'm hearing over now that Braun Strowman is still injured. He just got off of elbow surgery, so he might not be there. So one of two things in my mind is going to happen. One, it'll be a quick match if Braun shows up. If Braun shows up, it's going to be a quick squash. Corbin's not going to get much offense. He's going to get murdered, and that'll be that. Or number two, which I think is more likely, is that he's going to be replaced. My two picks for him being replaced are either Bray Wyatt, because he did fight Corbin at the Starrcade live event thing, and two is Apollo Crews, which seems weird, but Apollo has been kind of siding with the Rebels, I think, because I remember him helping Finn Balor out on an episode of Raw, and Jinder Mahal was kind of Corbin's somewhat lackey, and Apollo was kind of feuding with him for a bit. So maybe like Apollo Crews or Bray Wyatt's gonna come and beat Corbin in this thing or lose. I don't know. This one's hard to gauge. Like, all I know is that Baron Corbin's probably most likely gonna lose. Like, because this whole Corbin as general manager thing has not been going well recently. Like, and I like Baron Corbin. I think he got a bad rap. Like, SmackDown, his SmackDown run in 2017 really just hurt him so badly, like with him losing the Money in the Bank briefcase and then the John Cena in embarrassing fashion at SummerSlam. But I think this general manager thing kind of really expanded his horizons, like kind of made him more well-rounded as a character and a superstar. But I think it's run its course, and I'm honestly so sick and tired of these heel authority figures on Raw. It's like ever since the brand split 2.0, that's basically what's happened. We got Stephanie, and then like this whole thing like where she's the commissioner, and oh my god, I cannot stand Stephanie McMahon. So yeah, I think Corbin is most likely going to lose, and if the off chance he doesn't, it's probably going to be because Braun Strowman is not going to be the guy he fights with. I know it's weird, but yeah, it's wrestling. So up next we have Ronda Rousey versus the world's most hated woman Nia Jax for the Raw Women's Championship. I'm not really going to go into a debate on how I feel about this whole Nia Jax injuring Becky Lynch thing. Like, all I'm gonna say is that Sami Callihan nearly killed Eddie Edwards, and I've never seen anyone complain about the fact that he's getting pushed. If anyone does see anything about that, let me know in the comments below. I think this match will be better than the one at Money in the Bank because it did surprise at Money in the Bank. They did surprise with a good match, even though I was not interested in the feud because it was a face-to-face and they couldn't really do anything with it. But I think Nia Jax is really owning this heel character of hers, like the face breaker and all that. And she's kind of embracing the heat she's getting. It's so weird because, like, I remember at the beginning of the year, she was like this conquering hero, ready to beat that bully Alexa Bliss. But, I'm glad that Nia can play both parts. That's great for a wrestler, even if her wrestling isn't spectacular. I'm going to go with Ronda Rousey to win. It's pretty much a given. Like, do you honestly think that they're going to give Nia Jax the title? Like, if they do, like, it would kind of make sense because this new heel run of Nia's and Tamina as her little lackey. But they're probably going to keep it on Ronda at least until WrestleMania. Up next, we have the new Daniel Bryan taking on AJ Styles for the WWE Championship. And I'll just say right now, I love the new Daniel Bryan. He is fantastic. Like, all of this face stuff from Daniel Bryan really made me forget, like, how awesome of a heel he was. Like, I remember back in 2012, I believe it. Yeah, it was 2012. When he was, like, the world champion, he was just, like, a chicken shit heel, and he was just so great at getting heat. Like, even when he was pretending to like AJ. And then, like, the whole thing with CM Punk and then forming Team Hell No. Oh, man, that stuff was great. And this new Daniel Bryan stuff, I really love too, because it kind of makes sense. And I'm also kind of glad he kept the facial hair, because I remember Luke Owen from Wrestle Talk saying on Twitter that he kind of wished that he would go completely, like, bald like he was in Ring of Honor. And I kind of disagree, because why would you want to retread that? Like, even though people complain about retreading all the time in wrestling. And I'm honestly kind of sick and tired of seeing AJ Styles with a championship. I mean, I love AJ. I mean, he's great in the ring. But, I mean, there's a limit, really. I've always felt like maybe he should have lost the title to Shinsuke Nakamura or Samoa Joe. But losing to Daniel Bryan is fine. And it's good to have Daniel Bryan get another world title shot world title reign after his retirement. I'm going to go with the new Daniel Bryan to win because he kind of needs some more momentum after that loss to Lesnar at Survivor Series, and I'm pretty sure they're going to keep this new Daniel Bryan thing going well into WrestleMania or beyond that. But my question is, who's going to be his next challenger? Let me know in the comments below who you think is going to be his next challenger. Somebody told me Rey Mysterio. What do you think? All right, and up next we have the much ballyhooed triple threat TLC match between Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair, and Asuka. And I am pumped for this match. This is going to be awesome. And the Becky Lynch character, I do agree with everyone that it's gotten so much better. Like, she was a good face, but she's a great. I can't call her a heel, actually. She's still a face, technically. But I'm glad she went with the more badass face approach. Charlotte, like, I can understand why people are tired of her. Like, I've never been a fan of her promos, face or heel. Like, she's always come across as really dry, despite her amazing talent. And I'm also kind of sick of her seeing with the. I'm kind of sick of her having the title. Like, I mean, she's had it enough. Give her a break. And Asuka, I love Asuka. She's great, and I'm glad to see her come back after that dreadful Carmella feud that kind of really dragged her down. Like, it didn't build Carmella up, it dragged Asuka down. And I'm kind of excited for this match because these three with weapons is just going to be so much fun. And I don't know who's going to win. My pick is either Becky Lynch or Asuka. Becky Lynch because she'll still be SmackDown Women's Champion when she goes into WrestleMania for some sort of long program, hopefully with Asuka. That would be awesome. Like I said, that after she won the title at Evolution, that would be, or retained at Evolution, that would be an awesome feud to go after the Charlotte thing. Or Asuka will win, so that Becky Lynch will have an excuse to fight Ronda Rousey at WrestleMania, which was the match we were supposed to get at Survivor Series, but Nia Jax broke her face, so she didn't get to do it. I just don't think Charlotte Flair is going to win it, because there really is no reason for her to win at this point. Like, I don't know, it's just, I don't think there's really any purpose of having her hold the title, like, especially when they're kind of pushing this whole thing about her injuring Ronda Rousey, like, which was a brutal attack. So, yeah, my pick is either Asuka or Becky Lynch. Up next, we got Finn Balor versus Drew McIntyre, which might be up in the air because I've heard Balor was sick or something, but, like, they were still advertising the match, and it hasn't been canceled as far as I know. So I believe it's still going on. My pick is Drew McIntyre because you don't get the dominant victory he had over Kurt Angle in that dominant fashion without it leading to a push. And I've heard the company's really high on this new McIntyre, which honestly I don't blame him. He's great. Like, and I like Finn Balor too, but the thing is, in my mind, a champion should have like a presence about them. Like, he should be able to sell you. And I think McIntyre does that beautifully. Like, he has the promos, like they seem to come from the heart. And Balor, like, he's great in the ring, but from what I've seen of his promos, they just seem to really come from a script, not from the heart. Maybe he's done it better in New Japan or wherever he worked at before he came to WWE, but I don't know. Not really an avid watcher of the Indies. I know I'm a bad fan. I'm sorry, but yeah, like, I do believe this will be a show stealer, but Drew McIntyre is coming out on top. Up next, we have Elias versus Bobby Lashley in basically a guitar and a pole match. It's kind of like the match that Kevin Nash and Triple H had back in 2011, where the sledgehammer was on top of the ladder. I believe this match will probably be better than that one was, but Elias is going to win because he's got the crowd eating out of the palm of his hands. And honestly, I don't think this win would really help Bobby Lashley in any way because WWE really did tear down Lashley. Like, I don't even know where to begin with this. Like, first he has no storylines. Then they give him this god-awful storyline with poor Sami Zayn. Like, I appreciate Sami trying to save the thing, but he couldn't have. And then they were getting to the right track with the Roman Reigns feud, which led to one of the better matches at Extreme Rules 2018, in my opinion. But then they just kind of went downhill until he kind of turned heel on Kevin Owens, then got Lio Rush as his manager, and I thought things were going to turn, like, for the better, and for a while they did, until Lashley started showing his ass to people, like, hit him with this, your favorite pose, Lashley. And Lio Rush, he's good in the short burst, but I always kind of found him annoying, especially like with those promos he had to hype up his debut on 205 Live. Like, I just found those promos really annoying because it sounded like he was trying to ad-lib, but he kept forgetting what he was trying to ad-lib. So yeah, I think Elias will win this match to just kind of ride off the huge momentum that he has. And plus, I think Lashley's already dominated in this feud that they've had. I mean, he has a couple victories over Elias in singles action, I believe. And Leo Rush has one after last week on Raw, or like earlier this week on Raw. So yeah, Elias will win, and we'll all move on with our lives. Up next, Natalya versus Ruby Riott in a tables match. I don't get why people were really offended by what Ruby did. I mean, it wasn't that bad. She took an image of Jim Neidhart from Google Images and just put it on a table. I mean, it's not really the worst thing she could have done. I mean, she didn't piss on his grave or anything, or did what Big Boss Man did to Big Show and just take the casket while during the funeral. Oh my God, that would have been interesting. And I do appreciate that the fact that it's at least Ruby Riott, like one of the better talkers in the women's division, that is doing this. And I also like the fact that she actually has a storyline because, in my opinion, Ruby Riott's very underrated, and I think should be a Raw Women's Champion right now. She and Ember Moon should be Raw Women's Champion sometime in the future, hopefully soon. And Natalya, I'm honestly not really interested in Natalya. Like, I don't know. Whenever these emotional feuds come up for Natalya, she's always not good at them because she can't act. Like, I remember her feud with Nikki Bella on SmackDown, and all the promos they cut against each other, they were all so bad because the two couldn't act. Like, oh man, those were terrible. I think Ruby Riott's gonna win this because Natalya already won a match they had on Raw, and I think it might be a good win for Riott to kind of maybe push her in the women's division because they don't seem to really be doing anything with Natty. So there's that. All right, up next we got Buddy Murphy and Cedric Alexander going one-on-one for the Cruiserweight Championship. It always kind of strikes me how people still ignore 205 Live. Like, 205 Live, I think it's great. I mean, it's right now it's structured like NXT, and like they got a lot of good guys over there. Buddy Murphy and Hideo Itami, Buddy Murphy especially, really did find a new life in 205 Live where they didn't have it in NXT. So, and I think Buddy Murphy's going to win because Cedric had that title for long enough, and they're probably going to go for a longer reign with Buddy, hopefully, which will lead to WrestleMania where Mustafa Ali will win the title. But I'm expecting this to be a show stealer, and hopefully we'll get more people interested in 205 Live, almost as much as Mustafa Ali's appearance on SmackDown this week did, hopefully. And then finally, we have Randy Orton versus Rey Mysterio in a chairs match. I actually really like this feud. It's kind of brutal and intense, and Orton was, I think, really great with the promos here, like just the psychotic, aggressive nature he has, like just destroying Mysterio and disrespecting his mask. But I also love how he says, I don't care what the mask means, I just wanted to do it. It's important to him, I just wanted to disrespect him. And that was great. I do think this match will be great. Chairs matches get a bad reputation, and I always point out to like matches like Undertaker and Batista, aside from the finish from the original TLC, and Corbin and Kalisto from TLC 2016, which was a fantastic match. Yeah, I think chairs matches have a bad rap. Like the worst chairs match I could think of is Cena versus Barrett from TLC 2010 with and Big Show and Sheamus just for the stupid giant chair. Like what the hell was that about? But I think Rey Mysterio will win because this is going to be his first big pay-per-view appearance. Like he had that bullshit at Crown Jewel with that tournament that meant nothing. And he was at the Starrcade event, which really wasn't that big of a deal. I mean, he did fight Shinsuke for the U.S. title, but it turned into a tag team match player with him and Rusev going up against Miz and Nakamura, I should say, for the win. But I do think this big singles match will help Mysterio, kind of just show him as a guy who's still ready to make it into the main event scene. And maybe, like somebody told me, he will fight the new Daniel Bryan in the future for the WWE Championship, which would be awesome. And those are my predictions for TLC 2018. But before I go, let's talk about some of the matches that didn't make it onto the card, which is 12 matches long. Holy crap. Um, Shinsuke and Rusev for the U.S. titles happening on SmackDown, which I think is kind of nice because Shinsuke kind of needed a feud, and Rusev, like, people love him. So I think it's nice that he's being the one to kind of fight Shinsuke. And it's also weird that he's fighting for America, where when he was U.S. champion back in 2014, in 2015, he was like against America. So it all comes full circle, I guess. And then we got Samoa Joe and Jeff Hardy on SmackDown. And I think this will be a good way for Samoa Joe to get back some of his heat. I think he lost from losing to AJ 4 freaking times in a row. Like, he won at SummerSlam by DQ, but I was so baffled that they made him lose at Starrcade. I mean, give him that at least, because it wasn't for a title or anything. I doubt AJ would have lost much momentum from taking the loss to Joe. But I am looking forward to Joe and Hardy when it eventually happens. And we also have the Miz and Shane stuff, which is, I don't know, like, it's entertaining. I will say that Miz is a great, like, entertaining heel, but I don't know what they're going for. Like, it feels like they're trying to make the Miz actually, I don't kind of believe they're trying to make him a face. He's just acting like it, and some people are saying that this will lead to a face turn, which I think is dumb. And Shane, like, oh my god, like that Shane, like, I hope this doesn't lead to a match between them because, oh my god, Shane has not gotten better with these punches. Like, I saw his match at Hell in a Cell with Kevin Owens, 2017. He throws some good kicks. Why can't he do the same thing with punches? I mean, it's not that hard, but whatever. And finally, Drake Maverick and the AOP versus Rude and Gable. I like the Rude and Gable team. Like, I was kind of on it because it kind of did seem below Rude to be teaming up with Gable. He really was one of the worst call-ups in NXT. Like, I don't know what happened, but there you go. And this whole thing with Drake Maverick, I didn't find it that bad. It was stupid, sure, but like, I remember him pissing on Bobby's robe, like on Raw, and I just thought it was funny just for the fact that he was like, when he was just pissing on it and like just trying it on. It was great stuff. I thought kind of funny, and the AOP, for as dominant as a force as they were in NXT, which I kind of wasn't really a fan of them. They just kind of seemed like hostage and shield attire, in my opinion. But they really got a bum deal on Raw. First, with feuding with Titus Worldwide, like that whole thing with like Apollo Crews was getting victories over them, and Titus actually throwing them out of the ring. It's just like, what the hell? And then they get the tag titles, and then Drake Maverick pisses himself, which was, I'm sure, some good laughter. I'm kind of glad they seem to be like kind of separating themselves from that for a bit. And I'm honestly just hoping for this thing to be done with, so maybe we can get some proper tag team stuff. Like, can you imagine Rude and Gable versus the Revival? That would be epic. So it appears I have covered everything I wanted to cover. I hope you like this video, whether or not you agree with my predictions, and let me know what you think will happen on TLC in the comments below. This is the Friendly Neighborhood Weirdo, signing off.